What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Kinstretch class brought to you by Stretch Effect. My name is Coach Luke, and I'll be taking you through today's 25-minute spine and shoulder blade or scap focused Kinstretch class. So today's really going to focus on not only the motions of our spine, you think flexion, extension with rotation, but also motion of the shoulder blades, which tend to sit right on that rib cage. So a lot of times we like to think when we go into shoulder blade retraction, we also like to extend our spine. So we're going to kind of break down those two motions and then work on isolating them from each other. So we're just going to start out with the spine. So we're going to start with cervical spine. So we'll go right into collapse kneeling spine cars. So my fists will be on the floor, shoulders down, arms are squeezing into the body, chin comes to my chest. I'm just going to rotate chin to collarbone, ear goes over my shoulder, rotate over the top, make sure my fists stay in the floor, ear comes over the shoulder, drop the chin, rotate through. We'll go one more time. Chin to collarbone, ear goes over the top, left ear over, drop my chin, come through the center. We got two more going the other way. Chin to left collarbone, ear goes over the shoulder, rotate up, right ear over, chin to collarbone, come through the center one more time. Chin to collarbone, left ear goes over, make sure my fists stay down, shoulders stay tight. Over the top, drop my chin, then rotate through. So we're going to go right into our segmental cat-cow. We have 2 reps each direction. So then lock in with your hands under your shoulders, reach out to the hips, start up full flexion. So I'm trying to tuck my tailbone, trying to round out my lumbar spine, round out my thoracic spine, and then I'll finally go up, round out the cervical spine, pull my chin to my chest. From there, I'm just going to take segmental extension as I try to just lift just the tailbone, and then I'm just going to work on segmentally extending all the way up. So I'm trying to just move one vertebrae at a time as I work from flexion or my cat position to extension, which would be my cow position. Just work one vertebrae, extending, 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 try to lift the chest, lift those collarbones, try not to squeeze the shoulder blades. Everything's still. As I work one vertebrae at a time, just come to the top. Hang out here for a second, take a breath. There. Back to the flexion, so we can just at the tailbone, try to tuck under. And then just work the lumbar spine all the way back up. TL junction, where the lumbar and thoracic spine meet. Mid thoracic, all the way back up. Upper thoracic, and now we're back into our cat position. One more time. Tuck, squeeze, and then untuck. One vertebrae at a time. Extending. Working all the way back up to my cow position. 1 second. Really go slow here. Really focus. Try to put your focus, your brain, and your attention to each individual segment of the spine. Extend, breathe. From there, we got one more time. Start tailbone. Just round out the lumbar spine. Work all the way up to the thoracic. Slow. Trying to round out. Full spinal rotation or spinal flexion. Chin puts down. And relax. From there, we'll go into our collapse kneeling thoracic or full spine car. So we're working the thoracic spine. We're also going to incorporate full spine. So we're going to start, when we do our extension, you'll start at your tailbone, and we do your flexion. We're going to start at the tailbone, we're trying to round out as much as possible. So if you have a block, you're going to squeeze that block nice and tight. Just try to flex over the bottom of that block here. So I'm coming down. I'm trying to flex over, so I'm thinking thoracic spine, but I also want to think round out my full spine. So I'm trying to tuck my tailbone, trying to round out over it, trying to create as much of a spinal curvature as I can, creating tension, squeezing that block, keeping my chin in my chest, get that flexion. I'm going to rotate to my left, lateral flexion, so I'm bending to my left, start at the tailbone as I extend, work all the way back up, so now I'm in full extension like my cow position there. Stay in extension, rotate, lateral flexion. Pull my elbows into my ribs, round out my spine as much as I can. We go one more time that same way. So full flexion, rotation, lateral flexion. Start at the tailbone, extend up, up, full extension. Hang on here for a second. Rotate, lateral flexion, down, tuck that tailbone, round up, full spine. Now we're back into full spinal flexion. Rotate to the right, flex right, feel that stretch on the left side. Start extending from the tailbone. Go one segment at a time, all the way up. Full extension, rotation, lateral flexion, pull those elbows into the body. Round out the full spine. We got one more time here. Getting tighter in that block. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Stand all the way back up. Try to distribute that extension among all your vertebrae. From there, I'm holding extension. Rotation. Lateral flexion. Pull the elbows into the body. Round out that spine. And come through. Very good. So from there, hold on to that block. You can stay in the tall kneeling position. I'll stay from the side as well. You can stay collapsed kneeling, you can go tall kneeling, you can go standing, whatever works best for you. And hold that block out front. Ribs are down, glutes are tight, body's nice and tall, everything's engaged. From there, I'm just going to work protraction. So reach out forward. I'm not trying to get thoracic flexion, right? So I just want the protraction, elevation, retraction, compression. And then, like I said in the beginning, right, when most people go into retraction, they like to couple retraction with spinal extension. So we really want to focus on staying tight in the midsection. If you want to take another block, squeeze between your legs, so you can go from wide or you can go from close. That's just going to allow you to create a little bit more tension through the lower body, so you can also go wide here. That just helps everything stay locked in, so we know that ribs stay down, glutes stay tight, everything is engaged, so I'm not extending through my spine as I retract. So here, protract, elevate, retract, compress. We got one more time. We'll go 3 each way. Protract, elevate, retract, and then compress. Stay retracted. We're just going to come straight back up. Protract, compress, retract, elevate, protract, compress. We got one more time. Retract, elevate, protract, and compress. So we'll do the same thing, same motion. Now back into our quadruped position. So you can do this from hands down, that bothers your wrist. You can go fist down. Whatever works best for you. So we want to hit those 4 corners, right? So we're hitting retraction, protraction, elevation, compression, but we also want to make sure that we do a good circular motion, right? We don't want to think kind of blocky motion like this. We want to really round out as much as we can. Okay, so hands under the shoulders, knees around the hips. Brace the core, body stays tight. Retract, elevate, protract, compress, right? So we just want to think round it out. Retract, elevate, protract, compress, retract, elevate, protract, compress, and we're just going to reverse. Elevate, retract, compress, protract. Just a little bit. And there. Retract, press, protract, elevate. One more time. Down, press, and come through. Okay, so we go back to some spinal motion here. So we're going to go just work on our lumbar spine, so it's just a pelvic tilt. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go from a feet elevated position. So if you've done like a dead bug exercise before, I'm just here. So my arms will be up in the air, back is flat to the floor, hips are down, knees are at 90. And all I'm going to do is just like we would do a pelvic tilt here, I'm just trying to tuck my tailbone, segmentally flex my lumbar spine as far as I can up, and then I'll segmentally extend lumbar spine. Back down, tailbone touches, right back up. Okay, we're going 6 nice and slow reps here. Knees at 90, arms are up. From From there, just like tuck your tailbone, round out that lumbar spine, feel those lower abs engage, find your end, and come back in. And then you're doing abs and Kinstretch. So you round out that lumbar spine again, lift that tailbone, up as much as you can, feel those lower abs, control it, back down, straight back up. Yeah, 3. You got 3 more there, body stays tight. You can go here, 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 whatever's best for you. If you want to hold the block over in front, it's up to you. Okay, we got 3 more. Round up that lumbar spine. 1 segment at a time, up, down, up, down. Last one. Round out, roll it up there, lift that tail up as high as you can, nothing else moves. Squeeze, and back in. Okay, relax for a second. So what we're gonna do now is some thoracic flexion. So we're gonna do the same thing, except from the upper back. So I'm gonna be here, and here, I can go arms here or just here, and then I was thinking not just my neck, your neck will move of course, but we should think thoracic flexion, thoracic extension, back to a flat back position. Okay, we'll do 6 reps here as well. So from there, 90, arms are up. From there, or if you, like I said, if you want it from here, that just kind of helps kind of direct more to the flexion position. From there, you think 1 segment at a time. So just lift here, from up, back stays flat, round out that thoracic spine, straight back in. 5 more. Segmental flexion. Segmental extension back 2. Thoracic spine back 1 segment at a time. 3. 3 more. Segmental flexion. Segmental extension. 4. Last 2. 1. 6. Very good. The more control you can go with those, the better. Whew. Okay, so from there, we're going to go back to our segmental cat-cow, and then we're going to break down the motions with a lumbar lock and a thoracic locked cat-cow. So from there, now we just woke up the progressive tissue, we call it, of our cat-cow. So we're just going to kind of put those together back into our segmental cat-cow, see how everything feels. So I'm just going to tuck, come up, we're going to do the same thing. We got 2 reps, segmental cat-cow each direction. So untuck the tailbone, check everything else locked in as we just work 1 vertebra at a time. Just have a little bit more connection, especially to the lumbar spine now. Lift, tuck that tailbone, just work all the way back up. Breathe, breathe. We got 1 more. Really try to keep it tucked and feel those lower abs contract just like we did those lift offs on the lumbar spine. Now start the tailbone 1 more time. Each individual vertebrae. Put your focus into each segment of the spine. Squeeze. Last one. Tailbone. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Tuck that tailbone. Right up that thoracic spine. And relax. Very good. Okay, so if you've done our spine class with us before, you kind of know what's coming. What we're going to do, it's a lumbar locked thoracic cat-cow. So I'll be here sitting on my heels if you want to sit on the block. Now that can just make things a little bit more comfortable for you. If you want to sit there, if you want to block sideways, you just want to get in this position here, so rounding out my lumbar spine. Will kind of help me take things out of it, right? So I can really just focus on the thoracic spine. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna work on just staying nice and tight. Really just round out that lumbar spine, so kind of feel like those pelvic tilts that we did. So feel that traction, not only rounding out here, but the lower ab contraction. Try to maintain a slight contraction from there. And then I'm just gonna work 5 reps. Thoracic extension. So I'm trying to lift my chest. I'm trying to squeeze my upper back muscles here to pull my chest taller. I don't want to do a whole bunch of cervical extension. So you guys can just stay straight ahead. Just try to lift the chest, squeeze the upper back. From there, round out the thoracic spine. And just thoracic flexion. Try not to protract your shoulder blades too much. The shoulders will just stay in place. And we want to just work the spine here. So I don't want to squeeze my shoulder blades together, press my shoulder blades apart. Shoulders stay engaged. You can even think spread the floor a little bit with the hands. That'll just give your shoulder blades some tension kind of through here. So as we go from here, we're just working extension, flexion, 2, extension, flexion, 3, extend, lift the chest, keep that lower back tucked under, just focus all the upper back, back to flexion, squeeze it, last one, stay tucked under, squeeze those abs, extend that upper back, lift the chest. It's a great one if you sit at a desk a lot, just in a car, sit on a plane, getting that thoracic extension is huge. Us, last one, back to flexion, press that back through your shirt, oh yeah, and relax. Okay, from there, I'm going to go into back to quadruped. Now I'm going to drop my head between my hands, so creating a thoracic flexion. So this is the inverse now, creating a thoracic flexion, allow me to really focus on the lumbar spine. Right, so just the exact inverse of what we just did. We're going to do 5 reps, flexion and extension from the lumbar spine. Take tailbone all the way up to about mid back here. Let's potentially move. So your head will just be between your arms. You want to go here, just round out as much as you can through the upper spine, and then just work on lumbar extension. Position for your legs. Extension. Flexion. And those lower abs squeezing just like we just pelvic tilts. Extension. Flexion, that's 2. Extension. Squeeze. Flexion. 3. 2 more. Extension. Flexion, 4, last one, stay tight, full extension, squeeze, lower back, everything, try to lift the tailbone so you can butt up in the air. That's 1, back to flexion, round out that spine, feel those vertebrae, flex forward and relax. Okay, so we're going to spinal little break. We're going to go back to some shoulder blade work. Okay, so we're going to do shoulder blade cars, so we'll do them out from this position here. So I'm staying nice and tight. We stay down, of course, this tight. Sitting here trying to keep this good, nice tight core position. So we're going to go first one, we're just going to go arms out front. So everything stays still. Reach, lift, retract, depress. Reach, lift, retract, depress. Do 3 more, but let's make it more of a circular motion now that we got them down. Up and over, back and down, 3, reach, shrug, back, down, one more, reach, shrug, back, down, stay back and down, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down. 2 more here. Squeeze, lift, reach, down, squeeze, lift, reach, down. Shake them out. So now we'll just go with this view, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing with my arms. Now what we're going to do is going to be, going to feel really weird. Probably never done it before, but we're going to do the same thing. We're up here, but now we're coming up and out. So not fully kind of Y position, but think 45 degrees out from the body, but also 45 degrees up from the shoulder. Okay, so here, just stay down, core stays tight. Go 5 reps each direction. So reach forward, pull down, pull back, shrug. Reach, down, back, up, 2. Burning right about now, 3. 4. Pop. And reverse. Forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back. 2. Stay up. I lost it a little bit there. Back. 3. Forward, up, back. 4. Last 1. Reset if you need to. Shoulder blades reach around the body. Up. Shoulder blades squeeze. And pull down. Ooh, shake it out. Okay. So last thing we got, we're going to go back to our thoracic rotation. So our full spine carve really. And then we're going to grab the blocks. So same thing. We're just going to try to squeeze out a little bit more flexion, a little bit more lateral flexion, just a little bit more overall motion here. Okay, so from there, squeeze the block. Get tight. Shoulders come down. 2 reps each way. We're going to tick-tock back and forth. Right, left, right, left. Here we go. Chins down. Flexion. Full flexion. Tuck the tailbone. Round out that upper back. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Extend. Start at the tailbone. Work all the way up. Full extension. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Pull down. Come through. Reverse. Rotate. Flex. All the way back up. Distribute that extension on all your vertebrae, not just a couple of areas. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Elbows in. Back down. We got 1 more each way. Rotate. Flex. Extend. Get tall. Get tall. Shoulders stay down. Rotate. Flex. Pull in. Last one on the left. Rotate. Laterally flex. Extend. Tall, 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 tall. Hang on to the extension for a second here. Just breathe. So we get a little bit more. Rotate. Flexion. And come through. Very nice. That was a good amount of spine work there. That was our 25-minute spine and shoulder blade focused Kinstretch class. The shoulder blades is really just important that we get motion in all 360 degrees first. Before we start loading it up, you can always load up your quadruped, cat-cow a little bit more. You go to modified push-up position or push-up position. There's a lot of things you can do with more load, but really the most important is that you have control and attention to detail in all 4 directions mainly, but distributed among 360 degree shoulder blade function. And spine, we don't get enough motion into our spine on a daily basis, so the more you can do segment cat-cows, and the more you can break it out into, let's say, a lumbar focus, a thoracic focus, the better control you're going to have over the full spine. So keep working on the spine, keep working on the shoulder blade cars, and I'll see you at the next class.